Hi there, coach. Well done. Hey, we're through the first chapter of week one. Many more chapters to come, but you've managed to get through the first one, so congratulations. I just want to talk to you about what you may have learned, or even ask you what you may have learned from the first four segments of this first chapter. You know, we started off by asking you what makes a great coach. What are the characteristics that make a great coach? And what do you recognize within yourself as either being a strength or a weakness? You know, we went through 15 different character traits to discover which ones you're strong in and which ones you're lacking in. And then, you know, we asked you at the end of that to discover which one is going to make the biggest difference the quickest. You'll hear me use that phrase a lot, which one is going to make the biggest difference the quickest, because I believe that that's the way you accelerate your learning. You discover, how do I get the result I'm looking for in the shortest amount of time possible? What one thing is going to move the needle the most to get me there? And that was what we did in the first section, the 20-page What Makes a Great Coach resource. The next resource was a resource that originally I wasn't even going to put into the training, but you know, when you look at a team like the New England Patriots, and obviously it's a different sport altogether, but the processes are the same. When you look at a team that has dominated their sport as much as the New England Patriots have, there's got to be some sort of process that they're operating there that is allowing them to continue to dominate over a 15, 17, 18, 19 year period that isn't player driven, because players come and go. It's not coach driven, because coaches come and go. It's got to be more than that. And you know, when you listen to the interview with Coach Belichick and you look at the four fundamentals, the four principles that he has instilled into his players, into his coaches and into his organisation, you start to understand how they have managed to continue to get more and more success year after year after year. Obviously it helps when you have a head coach and a quarterback that have been together for the entire period. However, it's more than that. It's about the culture. It's about the ability to make sure that you are not more important than the team. And it's about making sure that that culture is driven through everything that you do. So I wanted to share with you the four principles, if you like, if that's the right word, that Coach Belichick instills into his organisation, into his players, into his coaches, so that you can start to get an understanding of what it is you might need to do within your organisation. And we ask you that question in one of the other resources, is what are the things, the changes that you're going to make to yourself starting right now today that are going to allow you to become more successful? What routines, what mantras, what processes are you going to start operating that are going to allow you to move the needle? One of the things that I think is vitally important as a coach is that you, when you have your team meeting, is that you have the ability to be able to put forward your team rules, your team guidelines. And those team rules and those team guidelines start with you as the coach. So this process will help you to be able to understand, well, what's important to me? What do I have to change within me? What needs to be a discipline that I demonstrate on a regular basis, on a daily basis, that is going to be something that I will then want to instill on my teams and my players? Because you can't do that unless you're prepared to do it. So, you know, I'll give you for instance, one of my pet hates is when players turn up late to practice. Well, I can't adopt that principle or that process if I'm not on time myself. So for instance, if practice is supposed to start at 5 o'clock, I have to be there at 10 to 5 at the latest, because I don't want to be late. And if you're a coach that's constantly turning up late to practice, you can't have that as being one of your guiding principles for your group of players or your club. The first thing I would suggest you do is you figure out how to make sure you're not late, because you know, one of those things that you want to be teaching these players and these teams is to be disciplined. to be respectful of other people. And for me, when you turn up late, it's disrespectful to the people around you, it's disrespectful to your teammates, it's disrespectful to your coach, but I make sure I'm not late. So maybe that gives you an idea of how you can form your own principles and your own processes to reflect what you want to share with your team. Maybe you want to create an environment or a culture where everyone has to contribute. Maybe every practice you're going to ask someone one thing that they're going to do tonight that is going to make the difference. I don't know, whatever it is for you. I put on that form, there's 4 areas that you may want to incorporate into your life. If 4 is too many, don't worry about it. Maybe you just start with 1. If 4 isn't enough, maybe you want to add 6. Okay, add 6. What I would say is that whatever you write on that form is make sure that you are implementing. So don't just write things down and then in 3 or 4 days you're not doing any of it. Whatever you write down on that form today, right now, you're going to start doing from right now, today. So if that means that you're going to turn up on time to practice tomorrow, that's what you're going to do. You committed yourself to doing that. If you're only going to talk about the next game, you're going to stay present and in the moment, then great. That's something else you're going to commit to. If you're going to create an environment where players can have a certain amount of freedom, a certain amount of latitude to be able to organise and create practices themselves, great, then that's fine. But then you've got to allow that within your structure, within your time, to be able to give them that. So that 4th process is massively important as far as I'm concerned in being able to create a framework, a set of principles by which you as the coach can operate in, and you can then share those and implement those onto your team. The 3rd thing I asked you to look at was, what is your greatest challenge as a coach? And for this one, it was really a case of problem solving. So I get lots of emails come through from coaches that tell me about all the things, all of the problems that they've got, all the difficulties that they've got, all the things that are holding them back and stopping them from being able to be successful. And ultimately, none of it matters. Because if you want to be successful, if you're driven to be successful, if your goal is to be successful, you will be successful regardless of what challenges you've got. You will overcome them. You will find solutions. You will create opportunities from these challenges. And it's the great coaches and the coaching that is progressive and driven and passionate that don't allow challenges to get in their way. So from that particular process, you should be able to identify what your biggest challenge is and how you're now going to overcome that. We've given you the solution to being able to overcome that particular challenge that you have highlighted as being the biggest one. If you go away from this week and all you do, the only thing you do, is you implement that solution and you take away that challenge, then this first week has been a success. If you need to come back and do the rest of it at another time, because all you can think about right now is tackling that one obstacle that's in your way, that's blocking you from moving forward, then great, go do that. Because until you do, all you're going to think about is that challenge or that difficulty or that problem that you've got that you can't get past. So make sure that you go back and you look at the training again once you've tackled that, once you've got through that. I hope you really enjoyed the first chapter. This is a massively powerful chapter, real change opportunities in this chapter. So again, if you need to come back to it, please do. I'm really excited to move on to chapter number 2, and I thank you very much for watching, being here, and well done for completing chapter 1. See you again soon. Bye bye.